I'm Angel Elliott for the Real News Network in Baltimore. According to a study done by the World Health Organization, processed meats like bacon, sausage, and ham cause cancer. But in many Baltimore neighborhoods, like Sandtown Winchester, there's limited access to fresh food. 1 in 4 Baltimore residents live in food deserts.
Like, what do we do? Because that's the only food that we have access to. It's fast food, fried food.
What they have in there really is junk food and like fast foods, and you still have to pay an arm and a leg for that. It's nothing really healthy. They have some stuff, if you call it healthy, but then it's not no good. It's bad because nobody's really buying it because it's too high.
But the lack of access to healthy food is just one symptom of a much deeper problem. People in Baltimore's poorest neighborhoods have life expectancies nearly 2 decades lower than Baltimore's wealthiest.
Food deserts, I think, really are a function of sort of the apartheid structure that we have in America. When you have disinvested, redlined communities, then you don't have the investment from grocery stores, you don't have the investment from fitness facilities and other things that make people healthy.
The corner stores that dot these neighborhoods have exorbitantly high costs of food with little produce.
Their stores are high as I don't know what. We're paying high prices for things that can cause us harm, and I personally find that to be ridiculous.
A lot of us, including me, we don't have transportation. We don't have car fare to get to the markets or pay for a hack to bring us back. We're not that fortunate, most of us. And it's really hard for those with kids, with little kids. It's hard to get somewhere to get fresh foods and whatnot. And on top of that, the prices that they charge us for what they do have is 5 times what we would pay at the market.
I'm here at a local grocery store that's about a 5-minute drive from Sandtown Winchester, but many of the residents there, they have to take the bus. Here, you have produce and pasta, say, for $1, but in their neighborhoods, it costs 5 times that amount.
We don't have a market. We have to go all the way like to Mondawmin or go out and to like the counties, and that's crazy. Why we have to go so far to go to a market? It's ridiculous.
The best way to understand the perils of processed food in neighborhoods like Sandtown Winchester? To take a walk, or in this case a ride, in their shoes. I boarded the bus from the West Baltimore neighborhood to the closest grocery store that sells fresh produce at a fair price, and that happened to be in Mondawmin. The time it took from waiting on the bus stop to arriving at the grocery store that's just 2.5 miles away, an hour.
In these neighborhoods, we know people are struggling economically, struggling financially, so it's no easy undertaking. And so I think we do have to be very concerned about what's the health impact of living in a community where healthy, affordable food is not readily available.
And while the world's concern is cancer-causing bacon, perhaps what deserves more immediate attention is this. According to a study by University Purdue, University Indianapolis, higher rates of diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, and stroke are evident in communities that are food deserts. Sandtown Winchester has an excess prevalence of high blood pressure or hypertension. They polled over 2,000 adults, and of those, 30% had hypertension.
It's a very powerful concern because hypertension is a risk factor for so many diseases, especially cardiometabolic. When we're talking about heart disease, when we're talking about kidney disease, when we're talking about anything that deals with the heart and blood.
Another study done by Baltimore City itself found Sandtown Winchester ranks high among other Baltimore neighborhoods in heart disease and cancer-related deaths.
Our bodies embody the impact of not only the neighborhoods in which we live, but the foods that we eat.
They hoarding us in and doing what they want to do to us, And I don't think that's right.
And according to Professor Brown, those diseases produce chronic stress that wear down the immune system and induce premature aging for the residents living in these red-line Black communities.
From everything, including police brutality, to violence that's within the community, these things sort of induce stress within our neighborhoods. But now we're learning that, of course, even the food we eat, especially if it's high in sodium, highly processed, highly unnatural and artificial, that is also causing real issues in terms of the health of the community. So It's sort of a chain, a link between the communities in which we live, how they were structured historically, and then the impacts that are in our bodies right now.
One way to combat food deserts and health-related illness in low-income communities like Sandtown, Winchester? Brown says banks lending at a fair rate and giving money through the Community Reinvestment Act.
Then it would help finance everything from what we're saying in terms of community gardens. It would help finance food co-ops. It would help finance worker-owned grocery stores even, so that people would be able to finance and build up their own healthy food infrastructure.
They should drop some of their prices, and they need to bring food, real food up in here. Stop giving us all this processed stuff. They know what it's doing to us. They don't care.
Reporting from Sandtown, Winchester, for the Real News Network, I'm Angel Elliott.